If God is good, why did he create Satan? And if he didn't create Satan, is he really all-powerful? And if he is all-powerful but chose to create evil, is he really good? Welcome to the question that breaks theology. This is the question that keeps seminary students up at night. The question that causes pastors to sweat during question and answer sessions. The question that philosophers have wrestled with for millennia. It's called the problem of evil, or theodicy, if you want the fancy term. And here's the uncomfortable truth. There's no satisfying answer. Not one that ties everything up neatly. Not one that makes you feel good. Not one that resolves the tension. Today we're diving into Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7, and Job chapters 1 and 2, and we're sitting in the mystery. We're exploring why God's sovereignty includes things we can't explain, and we're learning that faith sometimes means trusting without understanding. This is going to be uncomfortable. I'm not going to give you easy answers, because there aren't any, but stick with me, because sometimes the questions matter more than the answers. Let's start with the verse nobody preaches. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Read that again, slowly. I create evil. Modern translations soften it. I bring prosperity and create disaster. I make well-being and create calamity. But the Hebrew word is ra, which can mean evil, disaster, calamity, or harm. God doesn't just allow evil. According to this verse, he creates it. And before you come for me in the comments, I didn't write this. God did. Now, theologians have spent centuries trying to explain this away. God doesn't create moral evil. He creates the possibility of choice. God permits evil but doesn't cause it. Evil is just the absence of good, not a created thing. All of those might be true, but they don't change the fact that God is ultimately sovereign over everything, including suffering, disaster, and yes, Satan. Which brings us to Job. The book of Job opens with this wild scene. God and Satan are having a conversation. Yes, you read that right. God and Satan chatting. Job chapter 1, verses 6 through 12. Satan shows up in heaven, already weird, and God basically says, hey, have you noticed my servant Job? He's pretty righteous. And Satan says, yeah, but only because you've blessed him. Take away his stuff, and he'll curse you. And God says, all right, go ahead. Do whatever you want to him, just don't kill him. Wait, what? God gives Satan permission to destroy Job's life. His children and wealth disappear. His health collapses. And God allows it, authorizes it, permits it. Why? The book of Job doesn't really answer that. Job spends 40 chapters demanding an explanation. His friends spend those same chapters blaming Job. And then Job chapter 38 verse 4 reveals that God shows up and says, where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. In other words, you're not God. You don't get to understand everything. Trust me anyway. That's not a satisfying answer, but maybe that's the point. Here's the tension we have to hold. God is all good and all powerful, and evil exists. All three are true simultaneously, and we can't fully reconcile them. We can't say God isn't powerful enough to stop evil, because that contradicts his omnipotence. We can't say God doesn't care about evil, because that contradicts his goodness. We can't say evil doesn't really exist, because tell that to a parent who lost a child. So we're left with mystery, and that's uncomfortable, because we want answers. We want it to make sense. We want to solve the equation. But what if faith isn't about solving the equation? What if it's about trusting the one who wrote it? Look, I don't know why God created a world where Satan exists. I don't know why he permits suffering. I don't know why innocent people die and evil people prosper. I don't know. But here's what I do know. God entered into suffering. Jesus didn't watch our pain from a distance. He experienced it. He was tortured, abandoned, murdered. God promises ultimate justice. Revelation chapter 21, verse 4 says God will wipe away every tear. Every wrong will be made right. God is with us in suffering. He doesn't always remove it, but he walks through it with us. That doesn't answer the philosophical question, but it changes how we experience the question. Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Not that all things are good, but that God works through all things for good. Habakkuk chapter 1, verses 2 through 3. How long, Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen? Or cry out to you violence, but you do not save? Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing? Even the prophets struggled with this. God didn't rebuke Habakkuk for asking. He answered with, trust me, I'm working on a timeline you can't see. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 17 through 18. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Paul doesn't explain suffering. He reframes it. 3 truths to hold. 1. Mystery isn't the enemy of faith. It's the invitation to trust. You don't need all the answers to believe. 2. God's goodness isn't proven by your circumstances. It's proven by the cross. 3. Wrestling with hard questions is healthy. Job questioned God. The psalmists questioned God. You can too. So here's where we land. If God is good, why did he create Satan? I don't know. And neither do you. And that's okay. Because faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. What's the hardest theological question you've never gotten a good answer to? Drop it below. No judgment. Like, share, and subscribe, because our next episode is everything this week has been building toward. Until then, sit in the mystery. Ask the hard questions. And trust that God is bigger than your confusion.